Hello and welcome to another Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing the film Dalíland, directed by Mary Harron. So this is a kind of biopic about Dali in his later years. It's about the entourage of people around him, ensuring that he's doing what he needs to do to be commercialised, making art as an industry. Then we have a fictionalised young character, James, who starts off working in Dali's gallery but then becomes Dali's assistant. The film has had mixed reviews. The reviews I've read have been critical of the James character, and they've also said that there's not enough of Dali's art. I've also seen reviews that wanted the film to be more of an extravagant camp film, a kind of Dali carnival. I can see that a film about Dali could be made in that way, but it's not that film. It's interesting because I'm often disappointed because a film turns out to be not the film that I wanted it to be. It's always a problem when we come to a film with an expectation. Having watched the trailer, I actually did expect this to be a camp portrayal of Dali, but I really didn't have any expectations of it beyond that. I actually thought this film was excellent. I really enjoyed it, especially because it was so entertaining. Ben Kingsley is superb as Dali. I definitely wouldn't say that this film is a work of art. It is made like a drama. It's made to be entertaining. But I do think it focuses on an important aspect of an artist like Dali. For me, Dali was one of those artists that almost plays the role of a prophet or a shaman. Part of the role is the performance, the philosophy, the sermon. Dali says at the start of the film, geniuses must never die because the progress of humanity depends on us. I think this tells us exactly what the film is about. The power of a genius in creating a persona that can save the world, like Jesus, like the Buddha. Reading the film in this way made me think of artists like Joseph Beuys or Yves Klein, artists who acted like shaman, like prophets, who are in touch with the deepest truths of the world. But unlike spiritual gurus, these artist prophets aren't perfect. There's an element of performance to the whole thing. They're guides, mirrors that allow us to experience the ultimate secret of the universe through poetry. The Dali portrayed here is living his life as a poet. He never stops playing that role. He lives as and sees everything through the eyes of a poet, inviting the spectator to experience a moment of transcendence through his mediumship. I think the character of James is important. He is a nobody, an innocent, yet he perhaps understands Dali's work better than the other people around Dali, who see his work as primarily an industrial production process. There's a great significance to the book of signatures that James creates. I think that he has this moment of transcendence as he realises the performance, almost shamanistic element of Dali's work through his changing signature. The film clearly shows us Dali's weaknesses and insecurities. He's definitely not Jesus, and yet the image, the identity he portrays has the power of a prophet. I think that this is something James understands, and it bodes well for his career as a gallerist. It's clear that James is never going to be an artist, but he's bound to have a better understanding of the artists on his book than what we see of the people around Dali. So I think this is saying a lot about galleries and the art industry. There's a scene where Dali is painting the famous image of the folding, melting clocks. I heard a review critical of the fact that we don't actually see the painting, but this doesn't trouble me at all. I think that it's the idea of art as much as the actual art that matters here. Art that it's so good we don't have to actually see it. For me, artists like Beuys and Klein are shaman, but their work is much more conceptual and has less obvious symbolism than Dali's. I do think the strong symbolism in Dali's work would have distracted from what this film is actually about if we were shown a lot of his work. This is a good example of how what we bring to a work determines what we see. Clearly, my interpretation of this film is not one that the critics shared. but it gave me a lot of enjoyment. Yes, there is an element to which this is a little bit like a soap opera, but I also think it has grand visions. Sometimes I do think that art is the only hope to save the world. Politics and religion seem to fail us, and it's poets like Dali, imperfect as they are, that offer the rest of us that poetic moment where we just may experience that healing transcendence. So I give this film a big thumbs up for communicating this really well in a very entertaining film. Thanks for watching. See you next time.